And starting this hour, the latest from WikiLeaks. Earlier today, the whistleblowing website released 1.7 million diplomatic cables ranging from 1973 to 1976. Now, these cables reflect the United States Department interaction with other countries, and these cables shed some light on the U.S. political goals of that time. Now, this cadre of documents also includes communications between the top official of the time, Henry Kissinger, and other governments. WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange was on hand somewhat, joining the proceedings remotely from inside the Ecuadorian embassy.
Orwell famously said that he who controls the present controls the past, and he who controls the past controls the future. And that is because of the vital role that history plays in deciding our interpretation of what is happening in the world. The US National Archives censored all searches to the word WikiLeaks. Following that revelation, we looked closely at what else was going on. And in fact, as Kristen said, from 2006, it became apparent that the US National Archive had reverse classification of over 55,000 pages of material. That a great analysis done by the National Security Archives, a group run out of George Washington University. We have pulled together 2 million documents, 250,000 documents from our previous release, Cablegate, 1.7 million documents pulled from the National Archives, and put them together into an integrated format.
So, does he who controls the past also control the future? Well, I was joined by WikiLeaks spokesperson Kristen Robinson earlier today, and I asked him to break down what these leaks actually mean and why they're so important. Take a listen.
Well, I mean, they are declassified, these documents, but they are very hard to access. So they are de facto kept secret because it's only, you need expertise to actually be able to get access to them and find anything of interest there. So what we are doing, of course, we are unearthing them, bringing them to the public light and making them accessible to the general public. So it's a question of semantics, but I would call it a leak, yes.
Okay, so what do they mean essentially for journalists, you know, who talk to me about, does it actually change anything?
Well, I mean, for me as a journalist, this is so important to have a database like that, and you can go back to it as a reference again and again. And this is, and I do that frequently with every news story that comes up. That you go to Cablegate packets. Now you have 1.7 million other documents. Just as an example, Margaret Thatcher just died. There's a lot of information about Margaret Thatcher in those early cables and documents from the 70s. So there are information about the new Pope, etc., etc. You can go to these documents. It's very, very important to use it as an essential tool for journalists.
I see. So, you know, the speculation or the rumor would be that they came from the National Archives. Can you tell us where they came from?
Well, I mean, these are in the National Archives, and they are, you know, hidden there in many ways, and that's one form of secrecy. That is the hiding information behind a wall of complexity.
I see. So, you know, Project K was released. The National Press Club held a press conference about this today. Talk to me about the significance of that and if it actually impacts anything.
Well, let's see what happens. We are working with about 18 media partners who have been mining this information for news stories, and it's already front-page material at some places. I mean, The Hindu in India released a story based on this material about the involvement of Rajiv Gandhi in a shady arms deal involving Sweden back in the 70s, and that's you know, causing an uproar. Another example, for example, is the light is shed on the U.S. involvement in dictatorship regimes in Latin America. A good friend and journalist in Brazil has told me this is so helpful for the newly set up Truth Commission, which finally now is reconciling with the period of dictatorship in Brazil. So it's not that far away in history, and it has strong relevance today.
Sure, certainly. So Project K, Project Kissinger, if you will, certainly has some relevance here. We actually have a thought from RT interviewing Henry Kissinger. We'd like to play it now.
One has to remember that foreign policy of a country is influenced by its history, by the objective situation, and it is also influenced by what other nations think. So you can never start something totally new unless there's a revolution, in which case you have enormous human difficulties.
So the State Department just released a statement saying that they can't comment on the authenticity of the declassification of these cables. What are your thoughts on their statement?
Well, I mean, we have never released anything that has been called not as authentic. So I can't really say why they are denying the authenticity of this. Interesting to hear Kissinger's voice here. There is an interesting document from 1976 in minutes from a meeting in Turkey, where he actually is quoted as saying, when it's illegal, we do it immediately. When it's unconstitutional, it takes a little longer.
I see.
It's supposed to be a joke, but
an element of truth to that,
there's an element of truth in that.
Well, that was Kristen Robinson, WikiLeaks spokesperson.